Hello and welcome to the Narc Alert, the channel where we look at YouTubers and others to see if they demonstrate any traits that fall within the spectrum of narcissistic personality disorder or NPD. These videos are for fun and entertainment purposes only, strictly my opinion, and remember, please don't send any snark to our possible narcs. So key points to remember: messy fun and not a diagnosis. Thank you, everybody. Can you please get settled in your seats? This is going to be our final class of the semester, looking at the poems of the talented and breathtakingly lyrical poetess AMBERLYNN REID. The exam date will be posted, so please don't forget to take notes. And without any further ado, let's go right over to the club and see what the poet has to read to us tonight.
For Merc.
You're magical. Magic isn't about the bunny in the hat. It isn't about the applause and the laughs. Magic is about believing, touching, feeling. It's about passion, guidance, growing. Magic isn't about seeing what you feel. Magic is about a feeling that you can't see. You say you aren't a magical human, yet you have magical strength. You have given me hope when I had none. You gave me someone when I was alone. You covered me with flames when I was cold. You've placed mystifying butterflies in the home of my stomach. You've made me feel your hands all over my body without actually being there. Goosebumps, blushes, chemistry, you've made it all appear. Knots in my stomach, extra beats in my heart, puckered lips. You've placed these things on my body. You're thousands of miles away, yet I feel your presence every day. I feel your waiting love through the screen. I feel the warmth of your kisses coming for me. I feel your ecstasy all over my thighs. Sweet destiny, your magic is everywhere. It's written all over my body in heated penmanship. The wand that you use is your heart. It's as big as the moon, as soft as the clouds, and as special as a shooting star. No gadgets or toys to make me melt for you. You use your perfectly decorated smile, your angelic eyes, your lovely hair, your sweet voice, my magician, beautifully written. I sing your name every day on repeat because you're so far away. Locked in a cage, you made me feel free. You're magical because while you're in Florida, I still feel you. Next to me. Seems like there's some discord in the coffee house. Good thing it's our last night. The first offering from our poetess tonight is called You're Magical. And this poem is written in an era of new love. I think that this poem has been written before she actually gets. Last week, we looked at a piece called Florida, where she was in the bloom of love. She was with her lover and things couldn't look rosier for her. This poem is actually written before she made it to Florida, although her delicate lover was waiting for her there. So that's a little foreplay, so to speak, of a poem. So she starts off with: the magic isn't about the bunny in the hat. It's not about applause and laughter. Magic is really what the real magic to her is believing and touching and feeling and passion. She's a very passionate poetess. We know because we've traveled the whole semester looking at her works, we understand there's a sensuality that burns inside of her, and sometimes it comes out. And here it is again. It's in her passion. She says her partner denies being magical, yet has magical strengths because it gave her hope. It covered her with flames when she was cold. So her partner didn't just offer warmth and comfort. She literally lit her on fire and covered her in flames. Their passion is so much more intense than the normal people, you and I. It's kind of hard to understand. Her lover placed mystifying butterflies in her stomach. So this is clearly a take on butterflies in the stomach, the feeling of anxiety you have, but her butterflies are mystifying. It's not like the rest of us. It's not anxiety. It's mystifying anxiety. It's on a whole different level. Goosebumps and blushes and chemistry. She goes on to recite all the typical tropes of a young love, knots in the stomach, extra beating in the heart, and then back to the sensuality, puckered lips that you've placed on my body. She can't help herself. She's a very passionate sexual woman, and it's not to be denied. She gets even a little bit saucier in this piece. She feels ecstasy on her thighs. So there's a little something going on there for our poetess. There's no denying that. Here's an interesting turn. The line is, "Sweet destiny, your magic is everywhere." Now, last week we discussed that if you have a bit of a knowledge of the history and the background, the biography, so to speak, of this poetess, you can kind of pick up on a few more of the little subtle jokes that she weaves in her pieces. Here's another one again. To the uninformed reader, "Sweet destiny, your magic is everywhere." She would be speaking of destiny, the destiny that most of us ascribe to. But we know that the delicate lover she was going to meet in Florida was actually named Destiny. So she secretly put it in the piece here. And it's touching. It's quite beautiful. She sings her name every day on repeat. And it's because of the distance. So that makes sense. And she feels locked in a cage, but she also feels free. Because even while her lover is in Florida, she still feels her next to her. So it's a piece of it's a piece that's born of hope, of anticipation of what's to come. It's a joyful little piece, and that's why I've chosen it for our last class. Let's go back to the club and see what the second offering is tonight. Just like the seasons, your voice is like the summer's whispering sun. Longing for your laugh, I wander between jokes a ton. Your eyes are like the designs on glittering snowflakes, caressing a loving future. You erase my past, unwanted mistakes. Your smile is like the blossoming daisy that I picked for you, struggling for air, breathless in a hazy dew. Your body is like the structure of a perfectly born sculpture. States apart, longing for your scent. It's torture. Kiss me tenderly, for I will melt between your knees. Wrap your body around me. Take care of my fantasies. Bruises fade. Warmth turns to flames. Heart heals. Fiery love with no shame. Love me like fall, gorgeous colors where they belong. Compliment me like winter, eroding chemistry like a beginner. Marry me like spring, perfect love with an everlasting promise ring. Your body has all the seasons, going deeper for the right reasons. Pretty scents, pink and blue, million places, me and you, passionate paradise lives near my thighs. Cravings scream, take me for a ride. Our second opus tonight is called Just Like the Seasons. Our poetess likes to weave nature in her piece. She's a grounded, very, when you're that kind of... Our poetess often weaves nature, astrology, planets, trees into her pieces. She's very, you guys say woke. She's very woke and she understands eco things and she's very green and conservative that way. So this piece is called Just Like the Seasons. Now, again, right off the bat, there's a beautiful line to open. Your voice is like the summer's whispering sun. Not many people would describe the sun as whispering. It's tonal. It's visceral. It makes you feel it. She longs for her lover's laughter, and she wanders between jokes a ton. So she lives in a very joyful, happy, we know she's incredibly funny. Although we don't always see it in these writings because they're more about her passion. We know this woman could probably do stand-up because she is so funny. So even though she's living in a life of joy and laughter, she's wandering between the jokes a ton. Her lover's eyes are like the designs on a snowflake. That's very unique. People don't reference snowflakes in that way. So it makes you think. She's caressing a loving future. She feels this woman is here to make everything right. Caressing a loving future, you erase my past unwanted mistakes. She didn't want to make those mistakes. It wasn't her fault. It wasn't her fault that she made mistakes. But this new lover erases it all. And her body is like a sculpture. We've seen photos. Those of us, and I know most of you in the class are, again, very well versed in the history in the back catalog. So I know that some of you have seen photos of her lover Destiny, and there is no denying that her body is like the structure of a perfectly born sculpture. There's David and Destiny. She's a piece of art, and certainly to our poetess. She wants her lover to kiss her and wrap her body around her and make everything okay again. Bruises heal, warmth turns to flames. So she's not content to be warm. This is a hot girl. We've said it before. She can't deny her passion. And here it's coming back again. Touch me like summer, hot fingers placed their way for hunger. It's very teasing, isn't it? It's very teasing and erotic. Compliment me like winter. And here's one of the pieces. We spoke about the words and the themes that she weaves throughout her pieces. I told you to make note. Much of it will be on the exam. Here's another one. Pardon me. Eroding chemistry like a beginner. Eroding again. She feels very worn down. She deals with a lot in her life, and all of it is out of her control. So she feels eroded by a lot of things, and I think that's why it comes up again and again in the piece. Her lover's body has all the seasons, and she's going deeper for the right reasons, which could be another erotic reference, or it could be a soulful reference, because she is both. And finishing off with just the little erotic tease once again. Passionate paradise lives near my thighs. She knows that within her thighs, it's paradise for her partner. Their erotic life together is beyond what most of us have ever experienced. She's craving the scream. Take me for the ride. You see, it's muy caliente, isn't it? It's quite hot. And I thought that would be an interesting place to leave it. A writer's mind. Writing for me is like a sip of champagne. It slides down beautifully, all in my name. Writing chose me. It called me to its destiny. Freeing my rattled veins, no longer feeling caged. Writing wanted a home in a lucky writer's perfect land. Pointing at me, lurking in the distance, writing grabbed my hand. I knew I'd feed it with passion, stroke it with attention. It saw my sadness, heard my cry for help. Stringing along, it fell in love. Writing coats hysteria with calmness. Letters mark into words that gather into forever bonded sentences. Take a writer's brush and untangle those fears. Get a lover's lust and make magic appear. Sail along a loving writer's wave. Hurricane winds, but a tender mind saved. Writing gropes at your lungs, breathless for the perfect line. Tether me, shake me, ignite the glass of calm wine. No reasons for a blank page when words explode with vicious grace. Visions of daisies, elegance, storm, all take their place. In a writer's mind, you'll never see. Everything is beautiful, ready to be written. Writing, I fell in love. Okay, I've had enough of this 2-bit. I'm getting out of here. Okay, it's really good that this is our last class because I think we're going to have to get some new poets. I don't know what's going on in that coffee shop. Our final piece of the semester I chose specifically because it was called A Writer's Mind. I thought it would tie a nice bow around our entire semester. As we know, our poetess, AMBERLYNN REID, is one of the better writers that we come across. And she's not shy in letting us know that she feels quite the same way. She opens her piece with writing for her is like a sip of champagne. It slides down beautifully and it's in her name. So she takes full ownership of the beauty that she creates. But then in the next line, she says writing chose her. She didn't choose to write. Like most things in her life, it's not up to her. Our poetess is a very delicate soul. You might call her dainty. And life happens to her. So writing chose her. And again, if you know her history, she's slipping in her lover's name here and using it in a double entendre. It called me to its destiny. She's very clever. She speaks of writing as if writing desired her more than she desired writing. She is that kind of, she has a magnetism. So it's not surprising that writing would be attracted to her. Writing wanted a home in a lucky writer's perfect land. She is a lucky writer's perfect land. So writing was lucky, I guess, to find her. And she says she knew she would feed it with passion. Again, the sensuality. Stroke it with attention. She's very subtle with this. She tells us that writing is a cure for her. It saw her sadness and it came to help her. It coats her hysteria with calmness. And like most of us, when we're feeling out of control and hysterical, the first thing we like to do is sit down with a pen and paper, and it creates a calm. She here says, take a writer's brush. Very unique. Most writers use a pen or pencil or paper or perhaps text-based and typing, but she likes to use a brush because for her, her writing is truly, it's like a fine art, really. It's like a painting. She paints with words. We've said it before. Again, get a lover's lust and make magic appear. Her eroticism is undeniable. We know that. The writing gropes at her lungs. She's breathless for the perfect line. She says there's no need for a blank page when words explode with vicious grace. It's interesting how she does that. Grace is not something that's normally thought of as vicious. But again, she's so passionate that she can combine those two emotions into one seamlessly. Visions of Daisy, elegant storms all take place. In other words, it's all going on. She's got a lot of things going on. It's not all rainbows and unicorns. And her final line in the piece really says it all. In a writer's mind, you'll never see that everything is beautiful, ready to be written. Writing, I fell in love. It's a nod to being a tortured artist. In her mind, you'll never see that everything is beautiful and it's ready to be written down. Her mind is, well, to use one of her phrases, I think there's a lot of shimmer clatter in her mind. But through her writing, she fell in love again. There's not much more to say after that. I hope through her writing that you have also fallen in love. And I hope you've taken good notes because the exam is coming up. In maybe 2 weeks, it'll be posted on the class bulletin board. Thank you for attending the class. It wouldn't have been the same without you. You're the best class of students I've ever had. I hope I see you in our courses next year. We may be looking at some other tortured artists coming up, but we'll keep you posted. Study hard for that exam. And until I see you again, be kind and hasta luego.